Welcome back to Gun Fanatics. I'm your host, and it's always good to have you with us here on the range. Now let me ask you something. In a world where most things are built to break, what does it mean when a tool is built to last forever? I'm not talking about a couple decades of service. I'm talking about machines designed so well and built so tough that they'll still be running strong long after we're gone. Guns that don't just function as tools, but turn into family heirlooms. Pieces of engineering that outlive generations. That's what today is all about. We're looking at the top 7 handguns that will outlast you. Not the trendiest polymer pistols with flashy marketing, but designs built with steel, grit, and the kind of craftsmanship that refuses to quit. If you value reliability, if you believe in legacy, and you like real-world gun talk without the fluff, stick around. And if you haven't already, go ahead and join our community by liking, subscribing, and dropping a comment. All right, let's get into it. Number 7. CZ75B. Coming in at number 7, we've got a Cold War masterpiece, the CZ75B. Born in Czechoslovakia back in 1975, this pistol was locked away from Western shooters for years because of politics. But once it finally made its way into the free market, the shooting world realized they were looking at one of the finest service pistols ever built. The design is brilliant. All steel frame, which gives it serious heft and soaks up recoil beautifully. Its standout feature is the slide-in frame design. Instead of the slide riding on the outside, it runs inside the frame rails. That lowers the bore axis, keeps muzzle rise under control, and adds to its famous accuracy. And let's not forget the ergonomics. That grip contour is so natural that dozens of other pistols have copied it since. Pick one up and it just feels like it belongs in your hand. The real reason it earns a spot on this list is longevity. These things are overbuilt workhorses. With nothing but basic cleaning and spring changes, shooters have put tens of thousands of rounds through a 75B without wearing it out. Pros: legendary ergonomics, reduced recoil thanks to the weight, and excellent accuracy straight from the box. Cons: that weight works against you for concealed carry, and the double-action pull can feel long until it's broken in. Price: usually between $600 and $750 new. For what you get, it's one of the best values in the gun world. Number 6. Ruger GP100. At number 6, we're moving to an American tank of a revolver, the Ruger GP100. Released in 1985, this was Bill Ruger's answer to cops and shooters who needed a wheel gun tough enough to eat full-power .357 Magnum loads all day long. Bill Ruger's philosophy was simple. Don't just build it strong enough. Build it stronger than it'll ever need to be. And that's exactly what the GP100 is, overbuilt in all the right places. The frame is solid, investment cast steel with reinforced material around the top strap and forcing cone. The cylinder locks in 3 different points, giving rock-solid alignment every single time you pull the trigger. And unlike classic Smith & Wessons, there are no side plates to loosen up over the years. The whole trigger group drops right out of the bottom as one piece, which makes cleaning and maintenance dead simple. Why is it on this list? Because it's arguably the toughest mass-produced double-action revolver ever made. It's a working gun, built to be abused, neglected, and still keep firing like nothing happened. Pros: unbeatable durability, simple maintenance, and a frame that tames the recoil of hot .357 Magnum loads. Cons: it's heavy, no way around that. That weight makes it a joy to shoot but a bear to carry for hours. And of course, being a revolver, you're capped at 6 shots. Price: usually between $750 and $900 brand new. And for that money, you're basically buying a revolver that'll last you and your grandkids. Number 5. Beretta 92 FS/M9. At number 5, we've got one of the most recognizable handguns in modern history, the Beretta 92 FS. Most Americans know it better as the M9, the sidearm officially adopted by the United States military back in 1985. And it held that role for more than 30 years, carried by service members all around the globe. The pistol's most obvious trait is its open-top slide. That design practically eliminates stovepipes by giving spent casings a massive exit port. It's an all-metal hammer-fired pistol with a double-action, single-action trigger system. The weight and balance make it steady in the hand, and its track record under combat conditions speaks for itself. The metallurgy is solid, the design is mature, and when paired with quality magazines, it's one of the most reliable duty pistols of its era. Pros: proven reliability, low felt recoil thanks to its weight, and very good accuracy. Cons: the grip size can be a stretch for shooters with smaller hands, and the slide-mounted safety decocker isn't as intuitive as a frame-mounted control. Price: a brand new 92 FS usually runs $650 to $800, which is not bad for a piece of American military history. Number 4. SIG Sauer P226. Sliding into number 4 is the SIG Sauer P226. This pistol went head-to-head with the Beretta during the M9 trials, and many argue it should have been the winner. Built with Swiss and German precision, the P226 is often described as a masterclass in service pistol engineering. It met every technical requirement during the trials, but lost the contract on price alone. Even so, elite units like the U.S. Navy SEALs adopted it, and that sealed its reputation as a world-class combat sidearm. The P226 runs an alloy frame with a hammer-fired action. Its single-action brake is crisp, the double action is smooth, and the gun's overall fit and finish is noticeably higher than most of its contemporaries. The slide is cut from solid stainless steel, and the internals are tuned to last. High round counts are where this gun shines. It's common to see one run past 100,000 rounds with nothing more than spring replacements. Pros: exceptional accuracy, outstanding reliability, and simple, well-placed controls like the decocking lever. Cons: price is on the higher end, and the relatively tall bore axis can give some shooters a bit more muzzle flip. Price: $900 to $1,200 new, which is premium money, but you're paying for a truly premium sidearm. Number 3. Smith & Wesson, Model 686. At number 3, we're back in wheelgun country with the Smith & Wesson Model 686. Released in 1981, the 686 was Smith & Wesson's solution for a problem that every revolver shooter knew well. The older K-frame revolvers just couldn't take a steady diet of full-power .357 Magnum loads without eventually loosening up. Smith's answer was the L-frame, a medium-large frame size that reinforced all the critical stress points without jumping to the bulk of an N-frame. The result was a revolver strong enough to handle constant Magnum use, while still being manageable in size and weight. Built entirely from stainless steel, the 686 is both tough and highly resistant to corrosion. The trigger is where this revolver really shines. The double-action pull is silky, and the single-action brake is crisp and light, exactly what Smith & Wesson is known for. This revolver hits the sweet spot between durability, balance, and shootability. Pros: classic Smith & Wesson trigger feel, excellent accuracy, and stainless steel construction that holds up anywhere. Cons: like the Ruger GP100, it's heavy, with a limited 6-round capacity, and at extremely high round counts, timing can drift faster than it would on an overbuilt Ruger, though it's still rare. Price: typically $800 to $1,000 for a brand new model, reflecting its position as a premium American-made revolver. Number 2. Glock 17. Holding the second slot is the pistol that flipped the firearms world on its head, the Glock 17. Back in the early 1980s, Gaston Glock, a man who had never built a handgun in his life, showed up with a polymer-framed, striker-fired design. Most of the old guard dismissed it outright. Plastic gun, they said. They claimed it wouldn't last, but what came out of Austria was nothing short of a revolution. The Glock 17 stripped handgun design down to its essential simple mechanics, high capacity, and a level of durability nobody expected. That polymer frame was flexible, immune to rust, and tough enough to shrug off abuse. The internals used fewer moving parts than most competitors, meaning fewer potential failures. The pistol ran dirty, ran dry, and survived torture tests that looked more like demolition experiments. Frozen solid, buried in the muck, dragged through sand and gravel, run over by trucks, and it just kept firing. The Glock 17 didn't just set a new standard. It built the blueprint every other modern duty pistol has been judged against for the last 40 years. Pros: unshakable reliability, lightweight frame, 17-round capacity with parts and upgrades available everywhere. Cons: polarizing ergonomics, and a trigger that's serviceable but far from inspiring. Price: brand new models typically land between $500 and $600, which makes this handgun not only battle-proven, but one of the most affordable entries in this lineup. Number 1. The 1911. At the top of the mountain sits the sidearm that refuses to die. The 1911. John Moses Browning's masterpiece was adopted by the U.S. Army in 1911. It carried Americans through 2 world wars, Korea and Vietnam, and more than a century later, it's still one of the most respected fighting pistols on the planet. The design is simple. All steel, built like an heirloom that will outlast its first owner. The ergonomics fit the human hand as if Browning carved them by instinct, and the single-action trigger remains the benchmark, short, clean, and unmatched by most modern competitors. But the 1911 isn't just history, it's timeless engineering. A properly built version from Colt, Springfield Armory, or another reputable maker is both weapon and legacy piece. Cared for correctly, it's a pistol that can serve multiple generations. Pros: phenomenal trigger, slim profile for a big-bore handgun, and accuracy baked into the design. Cons: standard capacity is 7 to 8 rounds, and it demands more care and user knowledge than a Glock-style striker pistol. Price: you can find solid production models around $800, but high-end or custom builds climb into the thousands, and many shooters will argue every penny is worth it. 7 handguns. 7 different paths to proving one thing: longevity matters. From the Cold War brilliance of the CZ75 to the rugged endurance of the Glock 17, and finally the timeless authority of the 1911. These aren't just machines made from steel and polymer. They're trusted tools, defensive companions, and for many families, future heirlooms. Now I'll turn it over to you. If you had to stake your life on one of these pistols, which would it be? And what did we leave off the list that deserves a mention? Drop your pick in the comments. I read them all, and your feedback keeps these conversations alive. If you found value in this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and share it with a fellow shooter. This is Gun Fanatics. Stay sharp, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.